Hey guys, it's Marcus here doing another solo review for Sosei no Onmyoji, or Twin Star Exorcists. But before we get on to the video, if you're new here, subscribe. If you're not, get up in that like, and if you really do like our content, please continue to support us. Get up in that comment section. I'd really love to hear what you think about this anime, because to me this is one of the better ones this season. It's got a really interesting style, fun plot, interesting potential character development, but that's way into the future. Anyway, please continue to support the channel if you're already here, and please support the channel if you're new. Either way, let's get on to the video. Twin Star Exorcists, episode 3. Starts off with a quick recap of the story up until now, and then very quickly goes into the dynamic between the two people, between the main character, Roko, and the other one, Benyo. It's clear to see that they do not have a very good relationship. They already hate each other. Even the mention of their supposed marriage to be, or union in the future, sets both of them off. It's quite intriguing to see, because they've still got that little bit of anger towards each other, that hesitation, that just not want to, they feel like you don't want to be together, even though they're pretty much the same person. It's quite a juxtaposition. You see how one of them is strong and powerful, whilst the other one is quick and agile with the fist and the swords. And then it very quickly goes on to them having to go to school, whilst some of the other exorcists go on their exorcist trials. Seeing the other exorcist fight is really interesting, because you see how all of the kegare, or monsters, are different, and you see how all of the weapons that they use are also different, and that these guys in the backstory aren't that unimportant. They're very key to the story, because they actually still fight the kegare in Magana, which is fun to see. They're not useless. It's good. Most anime just like chop those characters up and just like throw them to the side, but it's fun to see some that aren't just thrown away. Then we go back to Rokuro at school, where he is with his friend, and she likes him. It's clear to see immediately from the get-go, from the first episode, it was clear to see that Mayura likes him, which is creating this interesting love triangle between Mayura, Rokuro, and Benyo, because I get the feeling that eventually Rokuro is going to like Benyo, Benyo is going to like Rokuro, and Mayura is just like not even part of this triangle. It's fun to see the developments. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Rarely does that happen in this kind of anime. We see how they work at school, how Benyo is introduced, and she's kind of stoic, and the class really likes her, and we see the class representative, Mayura, trying to be nice, and she's all kind and stuff and whatnot. And then they do sports outside. Benyo is really good at sports, Mayura's not. Benyo goes up to the roof. She's all brooding and stoic and typical anime girl-esque, or cool anime girl, where she's all alone. She wants them to keep it that way because she's edgy or whatnot. And then it gets interesting, because her summon, her pet, I don't know what to call it, detects a very powerful kegare in the nearby, which kind of sets her off, and she immediately leaves school, telling the class rep to create a fucking excuse, create something so that she won't have to be in school. It cuts, Benyo's leaving school, she's like, I'm gonna go do it. Rokuro, you can't stop me. You should be there too. She gives him that look, they share an awkward, tense-filled moment, and then it cuts. Yeah, again, it goes to after school hours, where Mayura and Rokuro are walking home. Rokuro looks a bit down, so Mayura's like, let's go somewhere. I'll go somewhere that will cheer you up. It's been a while. Let's hang out. They obviously go to a theme park, in which it's shown that Rokuro was quite a scared child when it came to theme parks, and now he's got a close connection with Mayura because he knows her father seemingly very well, but she's not an exorcist. It's quite a strange dynamic, because you'd assume that most of this person's friends would be exes because he's trying to distance himself from that world. He might have picked up friends in the past, but he seems to have had her prior to her whole being an exorcist, because later on they show a flashback for like a second of Rokuro crying and her crying, and you get that little ecchi moment because this character is that character. You know, it's constant memes, same shit. In most anime, you've got one voluptuous character, let's say, and one not so, and they're usually counters to each other. One's nice, one's not. It's to show a decision, I suppose, that the character has to make, which it usually works out well in the end. And then we get back to Benio, who's finally made it into Magano, near where the other guys are on their patrol. They're fending off the hordes, and then she goes in on the big monster. And I think I realized why I like this anime so much. It feels like I'm playing a game when I'm in the fighting scenes, even though I've got no controller or anything. Because whenever she mentions an attack name, she's all like, cha-cha-cha, let's do this, and then it chops up, and it's like you just did an attack in a game, in a like strategy game or some shit, and it's really fun to watch, in essence. Shame he's not here. Cut back, it goes from her doing all these cool chopping up moves in Magano, which is one of the coolest places in anime this season. It's very well created, its art looks nice, it's just fun to look at, and it's interesting. The more I look at it, the more it reminds me of Madoka Magica. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. So they're back at the park. Magano sees these kids, and Rokuro sees these kids, and he's all like, oh, man. Has that good flashback to where he was with his friends in the same park, and he's looking a bit sad. The girl he's with sees this and is like, oh man, what can I do to cheer him up? He looks so sad, man. Cut back to Magano, where there's a fight continuing, and the big monster hits the same place that Rokuro is in the real world in Magano, and it seems to create a portal between the two worlds, and it damages the place. In essence, these kids are now on a roller coaster heading straight towards an abyss, essentially. It breaks, the portal closes, it takes some of the track with it. The kids are now stuck up there, halfway off. You see one of the characters is just paused in action whilst Rokuro dives in. He goes in, saves those two kids, says, I'll save you, gets that flashback of he gets the flashback yet again of his two friends. It's really setting up for a dark story, where his two friends were in fire and he couldn't save them, and they just gave up, and he says, don't give up, I'll save you, I guarantee it. Saves the kids. They're like, thanks, mister, you did us a good one, which was good. I liked it. Cut back, they're walking home. He's like, man, you really did, you kind of cheered me up today. I had a bit of a fuzzy head and made me feel a little better. It's all good, thanks. She perks up, she's all like, yeah, is it? Thanks. She gets that good blush because she's anime girl number 2, number 1, I don't know. Choices. It goes back to him walking home again with all his bravado up. Him and Benio, they see each other. He's like, you guys solved the problem? Yeah. Why you look all scratched up? Don't worry about it. They share a quick moment and then it's over because he has to be edgy teen boy. But the most interesting part of this came at the end, where it's the main exorcist with 12 of the others, and they're all talking like, yeah, of course Benio makes sense for one of the twin stars, but I'm not feeling this Rokuro kid. He's not as fire as he used to be, or and then it says the only survivor of the blank tragedy. I can't quite remember the name. The Hinazuki Tragedy, and then the episode cuts. What is the Hinazuki Tragedy? It's been set up so deeply in this story. It keeps on cutting to flashbacks and to moments. It started off with the character in fire and flames, and you keep on seeing how this guy really just doesn't want to be an exorcist. He wants nothing to do with the world. And you see the older character have flashbacks as well to when he was with Rokuro before, and just after the incident, to where he's all bandaged up and he's cut up and he can't see and he's crying. And you have flashbacks with the girl as well, So overall, setting up a really interesting backstory, which should be really cool to see. A really cool backstory. Like, this has been set up since episode 1, since the second the episode started. This has been set up, and eventually when they explain it, I hope it's good. Either way, that's been me, that's been DeusOtakus, it's been Markiplius here. Get up in that comment section, subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, it really does help us out, and then we'll see you when we see you. In a bit, G.